Good afternoon, or rather good morning. I am starting my video blog that I said I was going to start in quite a whole nother video. I actually did upload a video about an unboxing for pinchme.com, but for some reason it didn't upload and it won't let me upload the video. I don't know why. So this is going to be my second attempt, but it's not going to be the pinchme.com unboxing because I did that and obviously I've used the products. But today is, just in case you are wondering what PinchMe is, since I'm mentioning it, pinchme.com is kind of like a site you sign up for to get samples, and today is actually, I believe, the Pinch Me Tuesday. So that's that. I'm sorry I look a little weird, but anyway, let me start by trying to figure out where it is I'm looking because my iPad's a little weird, and yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Let's give you a little background. All right. This video will be my book review on the Lunar Chronicles, Cinder Scarlet, and what I'm currently reading, which is Cress, which is the last book. And then there's Ferris, but I haven't gotten that one yet. Anyway, so the first book is Cinder, which is probably backwards, but it's Cinder, and I saw this book last school year at my daughter's Scholastic Book Fair, and it kind of drew my attention, but being that it's sci-fi, I like young adult, but being that it's a sci-fi young adult book, I was like, no, because I'm not really a sci-fi fan. Sci-fi fantasy, you know, I'm futuristic. I don't know. I've never have been since I've been a kid. And I'm kind of mad that I didn't pick it up then, because lately I've been hearing so much about it, and how great it was. This year at the school book fair, I actually was hoping that they would have it, or at least all three of them. But when I went to the book fair, they only had Scarlet. And I wasn't going to buy one book when they didn't have the first book. And she said they didn't get the first book or the third book. They only, for some reason, got the second book. So I'm not sure. Anyway, so maybe hopefully next school year or this upcoming school year for the book fair, if the fourth book, I believe, called Winter, is out, I will grab it. Or even if they have Ferris, I will grab that too. Anyway, on to the book. So Cinder is book one of the Lunar Chronicles. It's about a girl who, well, let me give you a little background story. It's in the future, obviously, and it takes place in New Beijing of the northeastern continent, I believe that's what they called it. And basically, humans coexist with androids, and cyborgs, or androids kind of are the worker, like maids and computerized, like most of the time when they're mentioning it, they're like servants. Androids are servants of the humans. Anyway, so the book is about a girl named Cinder who is part human, part cyborg. She's 16 and she doesn't really remember anything about her life as a child. She's lives with her adopted, I guess, stepmother and stepsisters. Her father, or the man whom adopted her, died of the plague, which is lumatosis, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it's this plague that's going around, and there's no cure. They're trying to find a cure. They recruited voluntary cyborgs to try to find the, or half human, half cyborgs, to find the cure. How people in the in New Beijing and or wherever in the world become cyborg is maybe they have an illness or whatever. They go through this process and they may have mechanical parts. Anyway, so she has some cyborg parts. Her leg, her hand, and then she has some inner cyborg parts. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much into detail about the book because I don't want to give any spoilers. But basically what happens is that she meets the prince, Prince Kai. I think that's how you say his name. And she he requests, because she's a mechanic and she's the best, so they say. He asks her to fix his android because there's information he needs and for some reason it's not working. So she goes through this whole process and she figures out the problem. But in the meantime, she finds this plot because Prince Kai's father dies of this plague. So he has to take over. But she finds out this information. She fixes the android and finds out this information accidentally about they're looking for, because he was looking for Princess Celine, which is the princess from Luna, which is the moon people. I'll probably make it a little more complicated, but for years and years and years and years, Princess Kai's father has been in talks with peace negotiations with Luna, which is the moon people, and the queen, I guess, of the planet. And when he dies, when the king dies or the emperor dies, all these events happen. And she finds out that these events, basically, Luna's going to take, the queen is going to take over, the earthen realm, by marrying the prince and then killing him, or so that's what the book says. And she finds this out and she tries to warn him, and the queen, or the Lavana, as her name is, recognizes her at this ball, or recognizes her before, like, there's this uprising, and she goes to return the android, and then there's like this all-out search for her because she says that she's a lunar people, of lunar whatever. But Cinder obviously doesn't know this. Anyway, so the book basically is Cinder's somehow gets involved in this whole twisted plot and discovers partly where she came from or who she is. And then it continues. It's actually, Cinder is actually a retelling or a take on the Cinderella fairy tale, which is kind of cool. Because it's not exactly Cinderella. It's the idea of the Cinderella story. You have the prince, you have this girl that's not of any nobility or royalty or anything, and they meet at the ball, but that's not how they meet in the story. And you know, the prince wants to find her and fall in love, because in the end Cinder kind of escapes with the help of a doctor. One big thing in the story I forgot to mention was that the stepmother actually, the one sister catches the plague, and it's her demise. Anyway, and the stepmother is angry and volunteers her for the plague research. And that's kind of where she starts to find out who she is and what she is, because, you know, they do these tests and everything. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it. I don't want you to spoil the story if you haven't read it. But anyway, I'm glad that I actually did decide to pick it up while I was in Target one day, because I've heard so much about it. And even though I'm not a sci-fi fan, I actually thoroughly enjoyed the book. And I actually read it in one day. And I give it 5 stars. So that is Cinder, book 1 of the Lunar Chronicles. And also at the end, I really like, it gives kind of like a Q&A with the author. And then it also includes a little short story. It's like, maybe like, I could say a chapter long. And it kind of gives a little bit of Cinder's backstory. So, Cinder, Lunar Chronicles, book 1. I hope I didn't do any spoilers for you. If I did, I'm sorry, but it's still a good book. So check it out. Then I will move on to book 2. Book 2 was actually really, really, really good too. I would give it 4 stars because it was a little bit, it was about Scarlet. And Scarlet, it begins, well, Scarlet is kind of like a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. And it begins with I'm about to say Little Red Riding Hood. Scarlet's grandmother disappearing, and she's trying to find her grandmother, and she discovers, like, why her grandmother went missing, and somehow how she's connected to Cinder, and it kind of connects the 2 books. How she meets Wolf, who is kind of like the big bad wolf, but in the end, it doesn't seem like he's so bad after all, because he kind of falls for Scarlet, which is not the typical Little Red Riding Hood ending. That's not the ending, but it does continue when Scarlet meets Cinder and so forth. And it also tells Cinder's continuing story. So it's kind of like a dual story. It goes back and forth between Scarlet's story and Cinder and what Cinder's doing to how she escaped, how she's trying to hide, but at the same time she's trying to figure out how to fix these things that are going on, or try to figure out what to do with the new information she's learned about herself and all that. And in the meantime, they're all looking for Cinder, Queen Lavinia and Prince Kai and all that stuff. And then they meet, Scarlet and Cinder meet, and they figure out how the grandmother is kind of the connection to both of them. And now they're trying to, they're trying to figure out how to stop what Queen Lavinia has started. She's started a war, which was kind of like a precursor, but they don't know that, to something bigger. And it continues on that they find a girl and a satellite, but that was because of this. In the first book, when Cinder fixed Prince Kai's android, she found a chip, a decom chip. And the decom chip is kind of like the way to, I guess, in this world, bypass security measures. It's kind of like a hacking device. So that way you can do like video and everything and not be monitored. So she found this, and she discovered this person on the satellite. And the person on the satellite was telling her things, and now they're trying to figure out, because the girl on the satellite is kind of like a prisoner and a spy, but she doesn't want to be, and she wants to kind of stop what's going on too. So they're trying to figure out at the end of book 2 how they can get to this girl and who she is and what she knows, and what, you know, how they can stop the queen. There's a lot going on in this book. I liked it, like I said. It gave kind of like the connection to who Scarlet is, how she's connected to Cinder, and there's a lot of other stories, and how they kind of all become one, I guess, group of people to stop these horrible events that seem to be being hinted at. Okay, so then they go on to the third book, which is Cress. And I haven't finished reading it, so I can't really tell you much about it. I'm only on page 88. I'm probably taking the longest with this book because, for one, I kind of did a marathon read with the first two, and I was so like, oh my god, like, this is like amazing. But at the same time, I read so much in, I'm going to say 2 days, that my brain was kind of like overwhelmed with all this information. So I had to process it. And the other reason probably is because it is the thickest of the three. It has the most chapters. It is the longest. I have a feeling that it's going to kind of not end the series, but start the end to a series. I think that, I'm not sure because, like I said, I didn't finish it, but I have a feeling that it's going to really end Cinder's journey to save the world, which is kind of like what's going on now. She's trying to save the world and from the queen. And I think that the fourth book, whenever it comes out, so I've heard, is probably going to be more of you know, what happens after. Kind of like her, if she saved the world, you know, what happens to her. Kind of like her after story. But like I said, I don't know. I've never read the book. I haven't finished the book, rather I should say. I've not heard or read anything about the fourth book, Winter, coming out. And I'm not really sure about what happens in Fairest. Fairest is supposedly, if you see, there's Fairest. It's the story of Queen Lavinia and probably how she became the way she is. A crazy lady. Or a crazy queen. Anyway, so once I finish this book, I will do an update video and let you know how I liked it. But if you haven't read the Lunar Chronicles and you were thinking about it or you wanted to, I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely a great series so far. I want my 10-year-old to read it, but she said no as of right now. She's got a lot going on with summer school stuff and whatnot. Anyway, so let me stop rambling. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my semi-chaotic reviews of the book. I hope I didn't give too much away. I know I probably did in Cinder, but it's the first story, so I kind of got to explain a little bit more. At least that's how I felt. Scarlet is, I didn't want to give too much away, which is why I didn't give too much detail. But anyway, so if you have thought about reading the series, or you haven't read it, or if you have read it, I should say, and enjoyed it, leave a comment below. Give a thumbs up if you think I did a good job. If I didn't, give me a thumbs down. It's okay. It's a free country. Your opinion is okay. I won't get mad. If you think I missed anything, leave a comment. So I guess that's it. And I hope this video downloads. So everybody have a great day. Bye.